hot weather and icy cold beer. The perfect double act. Cheers.
Okay guys, so you're planning on visiting Southeast Asia. Been there before? Many of you may well have been or are planning on going. It's a wonderful part of the world with a great climate between the months of December and April. That's peak season in countries like Thailand and Cambodia. Now I'm here to talk about how long you are planning on staying in these countries and how much it's likely to cost you. Personally, I go to these countries every year, have done for many years, and it's usually in the first 3 months of the year and a couple of months in the autumn time. Well, January, February, March in particular are horrendous winter months in the UK, and I'm always going to be found in Southeast Asia at this time of year. 3 months of fun in the sun, over-the-top indulgence, drunken debauchery. Now that's what I call a good start to the year. Now I'm often asked by people I know personally or on social media, the big question, what is the overall cost of 3 months travelling in these countries? Well, the easiest answer I can give you, and I will give you this answer, is to tell you how much it cost me personally. The reason I have to tell you about me is because I don't really know what your spending habits are, what you like to eat and drink, what you like to indulge in. Your spending habits may well be very, very different than mine. So, okay, I'll tell you how much I spent and what I spend it on, and then you can make up your own judgments on what 3 months in Southeast Asia is likely to cost you. Well, like I said, my first 3 months of the year always includes my old favourites, Thailand and Cambodia, but I often include another destination, such as Vietnam, Laos, maybe somewhere a bit further. My recent venture included Bali, which is actually in the rainy season early in the year, maybe not the best time to visit. Thailand and Cambodia, of course, have a fantastic climate this time of year. So, my recent travels, Thailand, Cambodia and Bali. I spent a month in each in a variety of locations, and the overall cost of this 3 months travelling, well, a bit more expensive than it would have been a couple of years ago. That's thanks to something called BREXIT and the fact that the UK pound is weak against so many currencies, including the US dollar. So, how much did my recent 3 month adventure cost? Well, overall about £6,000. That's about 8,000 US dollars. So, what exactly did this £6,000 entail? Well, everything you can possibly think of. Flights, food, beer, women, massages, hotels, even the bus to the airport. Every last detail cost me all in £6,000. It would have been £5,000 a couple of years ago, but I've already mentioned Brexit. So now I've got to tell you what I spent that money on. Well, flights. My main flight was with Oman Airways. Not a direct flight, but good enough and good value. That return flight from London to Bangkok was about £420. Good airline and good value. There were 3 other flights, these with AirAsia. Bangkok to Bali, Bali to Phnom Penh, Phnom Penh to Bangkok. 3 AirAsia flights which totals about £230 UK. So all of these international flights together, about £650 UK. Now I think that's good value. So how about hotels? Well, here we are talking of 90 days hotels. Well, they vary in price, and I stayed in 10 different locations during my stay in these countries. What kind of hotels do I stay in? Well, reasonable, comfortable hotels, maybe 3 stars, maybe 2 stars. I don't pay much attention to stars. I either like a hotel or I don't like it. But I always stay in comfortable hotels, close to the town or where the action is, with private bathroom, and of course, girl friendly. So the cost of 90 days hotels, about £1,350 UK. So overall, all the flights and hotels combined for 90 days have cost me just £2,000 UK, which when you think of it, for 3 months, 3 countries, 90 days, it's damn good value. Okay, so £2,000 for all those flights and hotels for 90 days. But wait a minute, I spent overall £6,000. That means 4,000 was spending money. Jesus, did I really spend that much? Well, I can calculate that figure quite easily. I reckon my daily average spending allowance was £40 per day. That should normally be the same as 60 US dollars, but the pound is weak right now, so it's about 53 US dollars. So how do I spend £40 a day? Well, that's an average figure, of course, depending on what I do that day. There are things I do every day and things which I do more sporadically. Things I do every day? Well, eat and drink, of course. I like my food. I eat in what I call budget restaurants. Not top notch, but not street food either. And drink? Oh, Jesus, yeah, I can drink. In a hot climate, that cold beer goes down so well. A few beers of a day, a lot more beers of a night. Yeah, I like my beer. No secret about that. So, how about those things I do more sporadically? Well, I haven't mentioned the ladies yet, have I? Well, yes, I spend money on the ladies, the bar girls and the massage girls. Not every day, because that would really blow the budget through the roof. But every 2 or maybe 3 days in Thailand and Cambodia. Bali, well, not so much Bali. The sexy lady scene ain't quite the same. Come to think of it, I probably saved money while I was in Bali. So yes, you can easily work out that the days when I have a lady, my daily budget goes up. The days when I don't have a lady, my daily budget goes below average. Of course, there are other things that you do sporadically, like go visit temples and monkey forests and that sort of thing. And of course, travelling to and from locations always costs money. But you can see what I mean about the average daily budget averaging out at about 40 UK pounds. So that's £40 for 90 days. That is £3,600. Now you add that to the £2,000 I spent on my flights and hotels, and that is 5,600 UK pounds sterling. Okay, so I said £6,000 overall, didn't I? Yes, that's right. Well, for the remaining £400, you can include things like coach travel and taxis to and from the airports, visas, travel insurance, that's compulsory, of course, maybe a bit of shopping in the markets, maybe a few other bits and pieces. So, I've explained how 3 months in these countries will cost me personally £6,000. I like a bit of comfort, I like to eat and drink, and I like the ladies. Don't make any secret of it. But what about you? How much will 3 months in these countries cost you personally? Well, only you can know that. You've heard what I spend my money on, but you may well think that you can stay in much cheaper accommodation. Of course, there is cheaper available, but remember, you get what you pay for. And how about beer? Maybe you don't drink beer. If I spend in the course of 3 months £1,000 on beer, you may well think, well, that's £1,000 less that I'll be spending. And what about hot, sexy ladies, hey? Well, maybe you don't indulge in hot, sexy ladies. If I spend £1,000 on hot, sexy ladies and you personally don't indulge in them, then that's another £1,000 less that you're going to be spending. Jesus, the thought frightens me. No beer, no hot, sexy ladies. It's not even worth being alive. But let's assume you plan a 3-month adventure in these same countries, where you're staying in cheaper hotels, eating street food, not drinking any alcohol, and not indulging in any of the ladies. Sure, it's possible you may end up spending a lot less than what I spend, but are you really having fun? I have fun, yeah, I have lots of fun, and that's why I go out there again and again. But then again, maybe you watching this are a bit like me. Maybe you like your beer and you like your ladies. And of course, there are lots of lovely ladies in this part of the world. So if this is the case, then your spending habits are likely to be similar to mine. So in that case, I hope that this video has been useful to you. It's also important to remember that some places are better value than others. Thailand, especially Bangkok, has become more expensive, as everybody knows. So if you're spending most of your time in Cambodia, then you're likely to spend a lot less. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel because I've got a whole lot more information I want to share with you. Give this video a thumbs up if it's been useful to you, and cheers.
Hot weather and icy cold beer. The perfect double act. Cheers.